On ABC Sunshine Coast, 29 to 11. Good morning, Annie Gaffney's my name. Great to be with you. Council is meeting again for its ordinary meeting this Thursday. And on the agenda, one of the very first items is the transport levy. And again, there's going to be quite a significant sum of money being set aside for the Futures study, which would be about light rail. So Councillor Joe Natoli can explain. He's with us this morning. Councillor, good to have you back on the program. How much money is being
Morning.
set aside?
For this current budget, there'll be 1.9 million that's been set aside that will continue to go towards, the work that they've been doing for the mass transit study, the options analysis, and of course, the public consultation now that's going to be part of it.
So how do you feel about that figure, that amount of money being set aside?
Well, there's a lot of money being set aside in previous years as well as this current year. So, like in the past, I think year that they spent nearly $3 million. People have to realise is that the transport levy is a levy that's put on every rateable property, and it's quite a sizable amount of money. It raises nearly $6 million every year. And almost half of that money in the past has been going towards the mass transit study. And really, when you consider that the area that they're talking about is 8% of the population, 13-kilometre strip, which really every ratepayer is paying for a solution that I still am not convinced is the right solution and the right way to go down that path. And obviously, I hope that the public will have a lot to say when we finally do get to have that public consultation process.
What would you like to see happen to the transport levy in the way that it's apportioned and where it goes? Is that something that you would like to see changed?
Well, yes, because at the moment what we're seeing is a huge amount of money being spent in one particular area. And as I said, it's only 8% of the population that's in that area. The rest of the population, the 92%, they're getting little bits around the hinterland and some of the community transport options that council's been involved, which are really important parts, but they really don't solve the overall problem that we've got. And I think we understand now that public transport and future urbanisation strategies that the council has to look at are probably interrelated. And so I think having only one option where they put all their eggs into that one basket to deal with 8% of the population, I don't think it's the smartest way. It's not going to solve the problem for the other 92% of the population. There are really no major plans to try and come up with any solutions of how we're going to deal with transport needs and how we're going to alleviate and get people out of their cars into public transport and other means of transport to and from work, as well as to our recreational places that we want to go.
Councillor, you've got a brand new CEO starting later in November who does have quite a history with major public transport infrastructure projects, including rail in Canberra in the ACT. So what do you expect her contribution is going to be to this whole discussion around how the mass transit project will work on the Sunshine Coast, or should look like?
Well, I think she has a wealth of knowledge and experience in those areas and probably sees things that work and things that don't work. And, I hope that we could use her experience. She's had tremendous experience also working with public consultation and being able to ensure that the community can be engaged properly and that the community has a better understanding. But I think, a woman like her would understand that the total amount of investment in that little defined corridor is not going to be the ultimate solution that's going to solve our transport problems here on the Sunshine Coast. I think we've got to start looking at a broader strategy, a strategy that starts to take a larger portion of the population into account, and strategies and solutions for transport, as well as urbanisation strategies that are much more broadly spread across our region. And I think she's got that experience. She has an experience with Department of Transport and Main Roads. She's got experience in heavy and light rail. She has a wealth of knowledge that hopefully we can put that knowledge to good understanding of what we need to do, and hopefully she could see the flaws that are currently in this process. I also know that there's, Sunshine Coast Business Council is pushing very much for a different strategy than the light rail strategy. I met with them a couple of weeks ago, and I was very encouraged to think that they are not, convinced that the current strategy in terms of the light rail strategy is the one to go. So hopefully when our new CEO comes, she'll be able to meet with different key stakeholders around the community, and she'll get a broader understanding of what the concerns and what other opportunities may be out there.
So what are the Business Council saying that they imagine the mass transit project could look like?
Well, they're certainly supporting the heavy rail project. They're supporting the fast train, and they have a detailed business case that have already been put to government. So that's certainly something that was encouraging for me to think that we've got a broad range of experienced business people who are seriously looking at some of the shortfalls of the light rail project and can see options out there that our current council and transport levy is not taking into account.
What will you be saying to your fellow councillors on Thursday at that meeting then, Councillor, about the transport levy?
Well, I still believe that that we've been locked into a process that has taken us down this path. And I think the public consultation process, I'm concerned, because already I'm seeing language changed from high density to medium density, from 80,000 to 20,000 people in that corridor. So the document's been rewritten. The website has been redone, and I just hope that they're not going to try and do a snow job over our community and try and convince them and allay any fears by trying to dumb it all down. It's important that our community understands that we're going to have 200,000 people in this particular part of the coast, and if they're only going to allow 20,000 people into, and that's what they're planning for, then it's serious questions about what happens to the other 180,000 people that haven't been accounted for. How are we going to deal with their transport needs? Where are we going to accommodate these people if they're not going to be part of this solution? As they previously said, high density, 80,000 people potentially in that corridor. And my concern is that we do need to be honest with the people, and if that's the intentions, then come out and say that. Let the people have a say. Don't try and fool the people.
Councillor Joe Natoli, good to hear your thoughts this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Councillor Joe Natoli on ABC Sunshine Coast. And we're speaking there about that sum, $1.9 million set aside for the Futures study, which would be the light rail part of the mass transit project. And that is an item early up in Thursday's ordinary meeting at Council.